So now we're exactly at 11 o'clock, Mr. Alma. So I suggest that we just allow people to come on board as they will, but I think we should just get started straight away. So we'll
Yeah.
jump right into it. So the first thing I'll do is I will share my screen so that we can get our wonderful presentation underway. First of all, welcome to all. Thanks for joining this Sound Academy webinar. And I suggest we just get going.
Maybe we should do a little bit of housekeeping before. Please use the chat if you want to write anything to us. But if you have questions, use the Q&A function. That can help us. Keep track on what questions have we answered and what have we not answered. So use the Q&A function. Feel free to put in every question there, and we will answer them during the call or when we end the webinar.
Excellent. And we are monitoring the chat here, so we'll make sure that all questions that you have, just please put them in there, and we'll raise them as we get to the end of the session. Right. So welcome to the MobileConnect webinar. First of all, I'd like to introduce the people that are here. One is on vacation, but my name is Robert Chaston. I'm Business Development Manager here with Sennheiser. I'm joined today by Mr. Christian Alma, and he's quite good at presenting himself, so I'll allow him to do that.
I will do that. Yes, my name is Christian Alma, and I'm located here in Copenhagen. I can try to zoom out a little bit on my webcam here. This is our demo room, our demo facility here, and I've put up a ceiling microphone that I'm using right now for this call. I'm the technical application engineer for the Nordic region. This means Norway, Sweden, Finland, and also Denmark and the Baltic countries. And I help out with all the technical questions on ceiling microphone, MobileConnect, our speed climb, everything for integrated audio. So I'm excited to be on this webinar today, and I hope that you will all join the time here. So I will hand it over to you again, Mr. Chaston.
Thanks a lot, Christian, and great introduction. So a short agenda, just to show you what we're going to go through. First of all, what is MobileConnect and what applications MobileConnect can have. The components that make up MobileConnect. Then we'll jump over to Christian, who will give you a live demo of what we call standalone mode. We'll walk through some key differentiators. Then we'll tackle the perhaps biggest question we get when it comes to MobileConnect, and that comes down to the latency. And then we'll jump back to a live demo of the manager mode, and we'll end up with a Q&A. So let's get right into it. What is MobileConnect? So MobileConnect is basically low latency audio streaming using Wi-Fi. That's what it is. What we found is it has an awful lot of really interesting applications. It was originally designed as a universal design or assistive listening system. So to help those with a hearing impediment get the best possible audio with the least possible compromise to that. What we've also seen, and that's really interesting these days, has been an increased focus on also concentration and concentration aids, where the possibility to capsule yourself a little bit more in, not be disturbed by anybody else, for instance, in primary schools and that sort of application, can have a dramatic increase in the learning process for instance, children. So this is a really good bit of technology to actually aid with that, not only for those with a hearing impediment, but for any student or any corporate who would need that sort of assistance. We've also done several deployments of MobileConnect where we've used it for translation. And That, of course, is normally something which requires quite a lot of user equipment and deployment, charging, cleaning, and so on, where Mobile Connect can do that in a way smoother way. Originally, we also had something for cinemas, so of course Mobile Connect can be very easily used for a audio description. So for people who have a visionary impediment of sorts, then they can get the description of the audio through Mobile Connect, and this is also one of the applications where the increased quality of audio really can come in and allows a facility to really start looking at how can we add to this experience for those who can't really see it. The last one that we've done, and we actually have a project here in Oslo where I'm situated, is actually picking up audio from info screens. A lot of facilities are now seeing with the pandemic that they have an increased need to give more precise information, for instance, to visitors entering the building, where a video of what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing is generally looping in receptions and lobby areas, where you can't really reproduce audio without that creating a lot of noise or distractions, and Mobile Connect is actually a really, really smooth way of doing that. So an awful lot of applications where we really can use this technology to give us benefits that normally or otherwise would be extremely difficult to do. And that's kind of a little bit of the ethos of Mobile Connect, is audio without compromise. And we've generated this slide which looks a little bit like an auditorium, where I've kind of put up a little bit of the various other technologies that could be used to distribute audio within that. So you would have induction loops, which of course have limited coverage, and you have structural challenges if you have reinforced concrete with iron that then can impact quite heavily on the performance of an induction loop. You can have leakage and other things. Traditionally, we've used infrared systems where you'd have near full coverage, but they are prone to sunlight, they are prone to absorption, and the user needs equipment that they need to borrow in the facilities. RF is also something, of course, we at Sennheiser know really well, and yes, we can do full coverage. There is that risk of disturbance. There is this risk of actually somebody tapping the audio if this is sensitive information. And again, you've got user equipment that needs to be supplied to the users. Where Mobile Connect, we can do full coverage because it's over Wi-Fi. You don't have any user equipment that needs to be neither managed or charged or cleaned or anything like that. So it is really being able to distribute audio without any compromise. So that leads us to what are the components of Mobile Connect. So we have the Mobile Connect station itself, which is the physical hardware in the system. We have the Mobile Connect manager, and of course we have the Mobile Connect app. The hardware is pretty simple, where we have a half unit, 19-inch unit piece of hardware with some network ports in it. The first one is for PoE, or Power over Ethernet, and the stream out to the network. We have a control port, and we have primary and secondary data input-output channels. We also have analog XLR inputs, and we actually also have 2 analog outputs. One Mobile Connect station can stream to up to 100 clients per Connect station. So this is generally more than sufficient to deal with, particularly with assistive listening, with screens, with a screen deployment and so on. It basically is sufficient to handle most applications. And if you need more clients, you can add more stations to the system. We have the app, which is both iOS and Android, and it really ties into this bring your own device, allowing any facility to not have any cleaning, not have any management of equipment out with the users. and you have the really clean interface. This has also been cleaned up quite significantly from the first generation of MobileConnect that we had. That leads us to integration, Christian, and I believe this is our cue to give you the big screen.
Yeah, then I will hit the spotlight for everyone here. Thank you for joining again. I will just shortly show you what I have installed here in our demo facility, or what I have set up here for our webinar. What I have here is a MobileConnect station. That is one I have for testing also new firmware. I also have a NUC where I have installed the MobileConnect manager. We will talk about that later. And then I also have a MobileConnect station where we can see all the connectors at the background, or at the backside of it. You could wonder why we have these two outputs. We are not allowed to say what it is for, but it is for some future features that are coming up. But it is interesting to see that we have output on a MobileConnect station that is meant for streaming audio to a mobile phone. So I will share my screen now, and then hopefully we will see my browser window, because I have here connected, let me know if you can see this, Robert. I have here connected my computer to the MobileConnect station that I have here. And then we can see the MobileConnect local admin interface, because the first version that we did with this one, you needed to have this MobileConnect manager installed to use the system. And it is a lot of effort to put into this just to have a simple channel up running. So our developers did this standalone mode where you can use it without the manager and also without setting up different stuff on a server. So let's walk through this standalone mode first, and then we can hand it over to Robert a little later. And then we can take a look at the MobileConnect manager after that. But when you sign into the MobileConnect local admin interface, we can take a look at that first, because you need to use this default IP address, and that will give you access to this local admin interface. I have more than one connected to this network, so I also have clicked this button saying I can access the local admin interface using this IP address. So I'm basically giving it an IP address based on the MAC address on the device. So then I have multiple addresses. I can access all my different local admin on my MobileConnect stations. So I've entered that into the browser window here, and then it gives me access to all the settings here. So on the first tab, we can see the choice if we want to run it in standalone mode, or if we want to run it in manager mode. Then we can of course see the IP address. We can download different logs. We can do a firmware update from here, and also of course also two very useful features: a reboot and a reset of the device. We already looked into the network tab, where we can do these settings. I've just set it up dynamic. All the IP address and the information here, it receives from my DHCP server. So, but you could choose to set it up with a fixed IP address. It is always a good idea to use a fixed IP address, or you distribute the IP address from a DHCP server, because the way you access these streams now in standalone mode will be with a QR code. And that we will look into here. And the way we access the stream is by scanning this QR code, and the IP address of the MobileConnect station is hidden inside this, or saved inside this QR code. So this tells the phone what IP address should I access to get my stream. The naming of the channel is also hidden within this QR code, and we can do a little demonstration of that. But we can choose here to whatever channel name we want to give this. This will be in the QR code. And then we can choose if we want to use a mono or a stereo channel and what input we want to take the audio from. We have the two Dante channels on, we have the two audio channels, two input channels on the Dante card, and then we have two analog inputs. So if you want to run two stereo channels, you need to both use both the Dante and the analog input. Most of the times it is just used for a translation and maybe a hearing assistance channel, so it will be two mono channels, but you have the option to run two stereo channels. It will still be 100 channels this MobileConnect station can serve or stream. So, and that can be 100 users on one channel. It can be 2080, it can be 50-50, but a maximum of 100 streams per MobileConnect station. And that is basically due to the Ethernet, the bandwidth on the Ethernet port that we need to stream, or we need this, bandwidth to stream all that audio. We are streaming unicast audio to the mobile phones. So, and this is also to get the latency that we have, and that is the lowest latency on the market. So we can set up a name for channel 1, channel 2, and then we also have a QR code for both of the channels. And let's take a look at the last tab here, where we can change the password. You need to enter a password to access this local admin interface, and that you can do from here. So now I will stop sharing, and then I will change the camera here to another position. So now you can maybe see all my mess here. But I have actually printed out these 3 QR codes. So now let's see if this works. And now we can take our phone. What I did here was basically just hit the QR icon up here, and then I can scan of course, the first channel, and then we will see only the first channel with the video of Jakob and John. But if we scan the last channel, we will see a channel name. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but now it is called something, and that is because I printed out this QR code before I changed the name to Jakob and John video. So that is why it is called something, and then a music channel. I will change my view on the screen here again. And then we could try to scan the QR code of the Jacob and John video, and I can hit the play button here, and hopefully we should have some audio.
On board, this box is also made for the centralized approach. It can be installed in a server rack somewhere on the campus and can support.
So that was the easy way to access the stream. What you need for this setup is just a DHCP server. Set up the MobileConnect station with a fixed IP address, and then the users will get an IP address from the DHCP server. And then you scan the QR code, you will get access to this MobileConnect station's IP address and receive the stream from there. So very easy setup to use it in standalone mode if you want to test it, or if you just want to use a small, simple solution where you don't want to install a server with manager. But we will look into all the benefits you get from installing the manager and what you can do from here, because then you can access the different streams in a lot of other ways. But I think I will hand it over to you again, Mr. Chaston, and hopefully you all got something out from this demonstration of the standalone mode.
Excellent. Thanks, Christian. That was
I
really
will
good. I'll
unspotlight
go
the
back
picture. That will be
to
better.
sharing sharing my screen, hopefully. Let's see if this will. There we go. So, of course, this is what Christian just went through is the standalone mode, and I just put up a little graphics here to show you what that actually looks like. So you've got from the speaker microphone to the Connect station, and then via the DHCP server out onto the network. One of the key things with MobileConnect is, of course, the audio quality. As Christian mentioned, it's a low latency unicast transmission. We're doing full range audio, so 40 hertz to 20 kilohertz, where a lot of systems that have been designed for assistive listening will do a limited bandwidth due to the fact that hearing aids also have this limited bandwidth, where we at Sennheiser have seen the opportunity for more applications, and we really wanted to transmit a best possible audio out to the people who are receiving this. It also has a 48-bit conversion rate, which really gives the best possible audio, and we've done trials with this where we've actually transmitted audio from a movie through quite a bit of distance and listened to it on the other end, and concluded that yes, this is actually really something else. And the audio quality becomes a critical component for certain applications, particularly when you're not talking about assistive listening. So if you're doing an infra screen, you could actually play something like a promo video, and the audience listening to it could get the full experience. So, and this also applies to something like concentration aids, where the receivers of the audio won't necessarily have a hearing impediment, but can really benefit from the full audio experience. This also applies to translations. It definitely applies to audio descriptions, where you could actually start adding Foley and other elements to your production, which really increase the experience for the user. And as I mentioned, audio for info screens, the MobileConnect system really allows you not to limit what content you're actually sending over, which is actually a really good advantage. So in short, the benefits are we have the lowest latency in the market. We have a personal hearing assistant, so you can actually adjust the audio to your preference. And Christian will be showing that a little bit later. You have the channel search. And of course, bring your own device. With using people's mobile phones means there's no cleaning, there's no charging, there's no management, and users are more self-driven. You don't have to go and ask someone, and they don't know where it is. And I think a lot of facilities can really relate to this, where the front-end staff don't know where the equipment is or how to deal with it, or don't even know in some instances who to ask about it, or ask the right person for really big people. We have the MobileConnect user app, which we will demonstrate in just a moment, where the users can really kind of tailor the audio to either their liking or their requirements, depending on the application of MobileConnect. Of course, we have a mute button in here, so you can actually take a question from the person sitting next to you, or have a short communication in between. Another element that I think is really helpful is that we have a waveform signal indicator in the app, so that you can actually see your receiving audio. We have had feedback that people missed it, and they'd actually either not plugged in their headphones or not connected their headphones, or for whatever reason didn't get audio but thought it was active. And this is just a visual cue to tell people that yes, there is actually audio coming in. You need to figure out why you're not hearing it. Volume slider, of course. also integrated into the app, and it has a really, really good user friendliness to it. The big question I've got on a number of occasions is latency an issue? And there's a mixed emotion on this, also within Sennheiser. And we thought we'd just take that head on and take a look at what that actually is. So sound travels at 343 meters per second. 1 millisecond equals then 0.343 meters. The MobileConnect system has an average latency of 50 milliseconds. And translate that to distance, that is a distance of 17.515 meters. Just keep that into reference. We come back to our image of a perceived auditorium, where we can kind of say, where does MobileConnect land within this? Well, you're at 17.15 meters. And I've actually done quite a bit of research in looking into, okay, what is acceptable latency or not? Ideally, we always want things in lip sync. And even as sound engineers will know, you will tailor the latency of speakers in a room, or if you have your front end hanging PA, you'll also try and align that to the person speaking. And you'll even add latency in some cases to ensure that the focus goes forward. What we've seen in the film and video industry is that they have a lot more focus on early sound than on late sound. So we're actually, there is an opportunity there to say, actually within this, the whole idea of MobileConnect is that the user can sit wherever they want and get acceptable audio. And the tests out in the field have shown that we sometimes have to assist and advise in how you get the audio from your smart device and to either your hearing aid or to a set of headphones, or whatever way you should do it. That is just as much the job here as actually the MobileConnect latency itself. And we will be touching onto this in just a minute, and this is where we really start getting excited. We have shown the standalone mode, and we also have then a more centralized, what we call the manager mode, which allows you to have a centralized deployment of the physical connect stations, and you're basically routing the audio. There, of course, adding Dante inputs to the Connect station was a huge step in facilitating that we could actually have a centralized location for hardware, and the audio was distributed in and out over the network. For that, we have the MobileConnect Manager software, which is the MobileConnect administration backend. It's delivery as a software container onto a Linux Ubuntu server. On-premise server hardware, but you can also use virtual servers to run this. Administration of all stations in your network, as Christian briefly demonstrated earlier with multiple stations, and you can have up to 400 stations administered in the MobileConnect Manager. Of course, as with the app, this software is also available for free, and I think that's also been one of the key things with MobileConnect all the way from the beginning, is all firmware updates have been free, all new functionality has basically been free of charge, as is this software. And that leads us to probably my favorite part of this webinar, Christian, which is the live demo of Manager Mode.
I'm trying to multitask here. I'm trying to answer questions in the chat as well. So, we got one question here. What is the cheapest device that we can receive a signal from a MobileConnect? And that will be a iPod or a Android phone. But I just actually bought an Android phone last week for this purpose, and found out that I might found an Android phone that was a little bit too cheap because it was not able to receive signal from 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. And we recommend 5 gigahertz because there's much more stability in that area. But all that is described in our white papers. We both have a white paper on the Wi-Fi setup and on the network setup. So let's jump into the manager mode. I will share my screen again. And now you see the same screen as we had before. This is still the local admin interface, and but I also have a tab up here with the MobileConnect manager running. And right now we actually see that we have one station running in our setup here, and we have Mr. Elmer's. He's not running at the moment, but if we go to the local admin interface and hit the manager mode button, then hopefully we will see the MobileConnect station is up running here, and it did. So let's take a look at the different options we have here. We have a dashboard where we can see the actual status of our system. We can download all these messages from our log. We can also see how many active stations we have and how many active channels we have. It could also be that we have disabled some of the channels, so they are not active, but we can take a look at that. Then we have MobileConnect stations. We have mobile app configuration, and what have been added lately is this API token. Let's take a look at the MobileConnect stations view. This is the view we saw before. If we go into Mr. Elmer's MobileConnect station here, we can see we can, of course, change the name. We can see it's running. The device type, that it is a version 2. We have previously done a version 1 of it and learned a lot of things from that that we have put into this device. We can also do firmware updates of the MobileConnect stations from here. And of course, reboot and reset the devices like we could in the on the local admin interface. Networks tab, same information we get here, but now we also see some information regarding the manager that is running on my NUC. So this manager we access from this domain name. This is a domain name that I have created on my server. So we have a DNS server pointing at this address, or when I type in this address, it is pointing on the IP address on my NUC, where I have this MobileConnect manager running. This is running in a Docker container on a Ubuntu platform. All that very well documented on our website. So if you want to integrate this manager mode, you can just go to this documentation. So this is what is possible from here. If we hit one of the channels down here, we will get the same options that we had in standalone mode. We can change the name of the channel. We can also disable this channel. We can download QR codes, but we can also regenerate a QR code here. So now I have regenerated this QR code. And then I need to print out this again. This has nothing to do with the IP address. The IP address is not hidden in here because now we have the DNS pointing in the direction of the MobileConnect manager. So when I take up my phone, it will and open up the app, it will ask for the manager, and then the manager will tell the phone what it should show. So no IP address is hidden in here. We can also hide this channel, but let's take a look at that later. And then we can, of course, choose if we want to send a mono or a stereo channel from here. So let's try to change that to a stereo channel, and then I need to move a window here and then save the button. So now we have changed that to a stereo channel. Let's go back to...
We have a short question,
Yes.
Christian. When you generate a new QR code, will the old one work also?
That is a very good question. It will not. It did in the past, but we have now, after feedback, changed that. So when you regenerate a new QR code, immediately the stream to the previous users will be disconnected. So that we will also talk about in the API setup. Yeah, we can take that now. Here you can actually set up API or create tokens. So if you want to integrate this feature of regenerating a QR code for a room, then you can just integrate that into your DSP, your control system. And then you can just hit a button in your classroom, in your auditorium, and then you will have this QR code regenerated, and you can show that on a screen in the auditorium or on the projector. This is quite new, so I've tried to play around with it. I've not managed to get it up running yet, but I'm still working on it. So let's take a look at the MobileConnect or the MobileConnect app, because here we can actually have a very nice view what is shown on the actual screen on the mobile phone. What we see here is our, hopefully you can see my mouse as well. What we see up here is the icon that we hit if we want to scan a QR code. But we also see the list of channels on the phone, but we can also enter a room or channel ID. So this channel ID, this 6-digit channel ID, you can hit type in here, and then you can access this stream. We had an idea to remove this, and then we had customers saying, no, we actually want to have this in the app still. So now it will probably change to an 8-digit to create more security and maybe also some other security features. So we have developers that are listening to the feedback from the market and moving this in the right direction. Very, very nice. So let's take a look at what else we can do here. We have this MobileConnect connector again. We can download the QR code here, regenerate from here. But let's take a look. We can also hide the channel here. Let's try to do that. So now we will hide this mini jack input. This is just an analog input I have here. And then it will not be shown. So we cannot choose that from the channel list, but we can still type in the channel ID or we can scan the QR code. Again, if we only have the QR code visible, or we regenerate the QR code either from the MobileConnect manager or from the use of an API, the listeners that have been connected previous will be kicked out of the stream. So hopefully we will have the video up running again, and now I should be able to see all the channels on my phone. Let's take a look here. Yes, now I only have 3 channels available in my app because we have hidden one of them, but we have 2 channels or two streams from each MobileConnect station. Hopefully when I hit the button here again and the video will play, I maybe need to hit it a little bit harder. So now it works. And then I can just select the channel from here.
As input available. So with Dante on board, this box is also made for the centralized approach.
And then I can of course turn up and down the volume. And then I can also use this
support
hearing assistance
specific
to change the frequency response of the audio.
is the Dante signal.
One of the things that I was worried about in the beginning, that was basically the latency, because I come from a touring and rental industry. I actually have my former boss on this call, Mr. Thomas Duck. Thank you for joining. So everything that I know is I have learned from this guy. So when I was presented to this system with an average of 50 milliseconds latency, I was just saying, well, we cannot sell this system because 50 milliseconds of latency, that is a lot. Until I one morning was thinking about this, and also all the times I have been doing festivals, doing concerts where I have actually added latency on purpose. This was to align front fill to the main hang PA speaker. It was also to align the loudspeakers in the front of house, but also delay speakers. So it all depends on what is the latency and or more important, compared to what. Because if we have a front hang PA in an auditorium, then you will have the audio arriving at you with a 50 milliseconds of latency when you are sitting 17.15 meters away from the speakers. And to demonstrate that it is not a problem, I have also connected the MobileConnect to this call. And now I will change the video camera or the angle of the call again, and hopefully we will not have any latency on the video. And now I'll pick up the phone here, and I have to type in my code. For some reason, this is not recognizing my fingers. They might have changed during night. And now you can actually see that we are streaming the audio from the ceiling microphone. I'm using the Dante output on the ceiling microphone, and then I'm putting that into the second MobileConnect station. I'm streaming that audio through the Wi-Fi, and then I'm receiving it on my phone here. So hopefully when I turn down and I can turn it back up, then it will disappear from you. But also if I move around the EQ here, you will hear the audio change. So I boosted it a little bit because that's the only way I can have enough audio into the Zoom call. So, but we can also choose to let the video run again. And hopefully we will be able to switch between.
Support one specific lecture room on the campus. The only thing that has to be provided is the Dante signal, which we all know is provided over a LAN cable. So it could be possible.
And now we are back on the audio from me, hopefully.
Yes, you are.
So I will change that view again. And so I hope that was a good demonstration of the MobileConnect in manager mode. What you need for this is a Docker container or a Ubuntu server running a Docker container, and that will here you can install the manager, and then you can access this from as soon as you're connected to that network. If you're running in, the MobileConnect in standalone mode or in manager mode, you always need a internet access. In the manager mode, it is also to verify you as a user. But even in standalone mode, where you don't have the manager, the phones, they still expect to have an internet connection. They are not working properly. And it also depends on the phone. Some phones are even worse than others, but you need an internet connection on your network for the phones to work properly. So I think that was it.
There's a question come in, which is really for you, Christian. Is it possible to connect to the internet via Wi-Fi while using MobileConnect? That's the first question.
Yeah. Um, it is possible to connect to the internet. You need the Wi-Fi to be connected to the internet. Otherwise, some phones will not function properly. Is there a maximum latency? I don't know what the maximum latency will be. It depends a lot on first of all the network setup, but also what phone you're using. We have measured the lowest latency. I think it was around 35, 40 milliseconds on some iPhones, and then we have other brands where we have measured up to 60 milliseconds of latency. And again, if you then have a slow network or some issues here that can, I don't know, probably create more. So, but again, it has been built to first of all as a hearing assistance for universities, and all these at all these installations they already have a very good network up running. So that's a huge benefit, and also it gives a lot of flexibility that you're not only limited to use it for hearing assistance. But yeah, I hope that was answer to that question.
Really good. And I must say it's quite impressive to see you actually talking via MobileConnect into this call. And of course, we've been a bit sneaky on this, Christian. So I'm actually talking into a speech line system which has its own 19 milliseconds of latency. If I go all the way up to the camera, and now you can kind of.
I think actually you have more latency on the picture.
It's exactly to your point that our worry on latency on this end is often well exaggerated. Cool.
Again, if you have a lot of latency on your received audio, you just have to move a little bit to the back of the room. Then it fits again with the received audio from the main speakers. So you can basically make it fit. Absolutely. But again, if you're using the induction loop, it will never fit with the received audio from the room. So
I think that applies, or I know that applies to pretty much any assisted listening system, whether it has 2, 3, 5, 7, 10 or more latency, that will only be accurate in one place of the room regardless.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any further questions?
Yeah,
I will share.
We're now moving over. We're moving into the Q&A section that we've planned for this webinar. So if you have questions, then now is the opportunity to reach out or shout out.
I'm just sharing my email address, and also if you want to write to my colleague, if you know Joe Mahoney from UK, you also can write to him. Feel free to write to him. If you have any further technical question, you also have your email address. That is just robertcheston@sennheiser.com. I think that will come on a slide again.
Yeah, I can share my screen with that information, so everybody can kind of see that. So there, my email address, Joe, and also Christian's, and we would also, of course, invite you to reach out to the closest representative to you from Sennheiser, and they can get you in touch with the right technical personnel. Both myself and Christian are based here and operate in the Nordics, but we're more than happy to facilitate getting you in touch with your local person where you're situated to set up a demo or to assist you in deploying this.
And then we got another question. Is it available in red? And you can basically order it in whatever color you want to. It just adds a little bit of cost to that.
As it's a 19-inch half rack unit, I think the simplest thing there would be to basically vinyl wrap it in whatever you want.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any further questions? That's not the case. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. Thank you, Robert, for being a part of this. And also, it's a shame that Joe couldn't be with us today, but that's it when you're on holiday and vacation.
And apparently it is a sunny day in the UK, one of very few. So
Yes.
I definitely think Joe has deserved that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, there's no reason just to hang around.
Absolutely not.
If you don't have any further questions, we just want to say thank you for joining, and I hope you got something out of it. And feel free to reach out for a demo wherever you are located, and then we will help you with contacting the right people.
Excellent. Thanks a lot for everybody to join in from my side as well, and hope to see you again on one of our webinars sometime soon. And do reach out to us if this is of interest.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Bye.